Good morning and welcome to MindShifters Radio. Good afternoon if you're in an afternoon zone. We're honored and delighted to have this time to share with you. You might hear a little noise in the background. They're actually playing the Star Spangled Banner in the background. We're in Branson, Missouri, and having taken people back to the airport yesterday after our intensive, so we're getting a little quiet time. Came down to a place where I thought I'd be able to find a quiet spot to do the show, and it's not so quiet, but that's okay. We'll just hold the space and say welcome and glad that you're here. And we are here to engage once again this ancient Aramaic technology of how to enter into a space of truly functioning as a human being. It's kind of sad that the ancient Aramaic teachings of the man named Yeshua have been turned away from how to live a human life into all kinds of dogmas and doctrines that tend to keep people in fear. And, you know, if you look into the ancient teachings, it's a very clear statement that fear is a dogma of men. It's a doctrine of men. It's not about relationship with the Creator, who is love. It's not about living as your true nature, which is precisely what Yeshua came to teach. Yeshua being the name of the man that's traditionally called Jesus, but his name was not Jesus either. He did not have a Greek name. His name was not Hail Zeus, Jesus. His name was Yeshua. And so what we've been diligently doing for many decades is working with the first century definitions of the words as they fell from the man's mouth and what they meant in the first century. And so we're here to establish in particular a deep understanding on a planetary scale of what the particular technology that he developed called forgiveness really was and really meant. You know, if you've ever held a newborn child, and if you have, I invite you to just take a second and go into that experience of holding a newborn and recognize that we all started out exactly the same way. And life has ripped us off for it, and that which has ripped us off for that experience has taken over virtually every place on the planet where money is available has been taken over by that insanity. And you'll notice that rarely does the true presence of actual love, you know, the true presence being, hold that newborn and notice that the newborn is not loving you. The newborn is love. Where do you find that today? And it's no different today than it was 2,000 years ago. It had been pretty well disappeared from the planet. Human life was almost gone. In fact, there is a first century rabbi that says that in the first century BC, where this rabbi says that that each of us needs to strive to be human in a world where there is no human life. And Yeshua, 2,000 years ago, was working to assist people in establishing themselves as actual human beings, that is, as the actual presence of love. And his technology of forgiveness was not about teaching love. You don't have to teach that. You don't have to do that. And you never have to forgive anybody for anything. If you're in pain or trauma, the pain or trauma that has been instilled in you by the world, the hostility, the fear, the grief, the rage, the sadness, the drama, and the trauma that has been instilled by the world needs to be removed from your structure, and the only thing left of you will be your human life, which is that awesome, sweet presence of love. And that's what those teachings were originally about, and forgiveness was the tool for how to remove those thumbprints based in hostility and fear. And so we invite you to engage with us in that research, in that understanding, and in making that available on a global scale. One of the other nice features of this work is there's nothing to believe. I don't care if you're an atheist. Doesn't matter to me. If you discover yourself as the active presence of love, then everything else will take care of itself. So belief is not required. However, use of the tools is required. There is a technology called forgiveness that will show you and assist you and empower you in precisely removing every thumbprint based in hostility or fear that you've ever experienced. And if you use that technology, then you'll return to your normal state. And you won't be loving people when you do that. You will be love. You know, Vladimir Lenin says, change the meaning of a culture's words and you can destroy a culture. Why is that true? It's true because words are the key to transmitting culture from generation to generation. Culture in the human realm is transmitted by words. He who controls the words controls the culture. Take a look at the media. And, you know, if you think about that newborn, you know, we asked that question. We've asked it of tens of thousands of people over the years. And 100% of the time when we ask that question, the response is always a response based in some descriptor that relates to love. It's beauty, it's sweetness, it's purity, it's awesomeness, it's aliveness. It is love. And I'll invite you to do an exercise. I'll invite you to sit down in front of your television set and spend no more than a minute and a half on any channel. Have a piece of paper in front of you, and on the left-hand side of the page, draw a margin 1 inch wide. So you've got an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. You've got a margin 1 inch wide, which means you've got 7.5 inches on the other side. And I'm going to invite you to sit there with your remote control, tune in any channel, in any network, anywhere in the world, and listen to the words. And every time you hear a word that's based in hostility or fear, or any of its variables, put a check mark on the right-hand side of the page. Every time you hear a word that's actually based in love, in sweetness, in the presence of human life, put a check mark in the margin that you drew. I guarantee you'll fill 20 pages with check marks of words based in hostility, fear, rage, guilt, grief, drama, trauma, political insanity, and all the rest. So he who controls the words controls the culture. Yeshua, 2,000 years ago, knew how the human mind worked and knew the power of words. And here's how much emphasis he put on it. He said, the power of life and death is in your words. The culture is utilizing words of death. Look at every commercial, especially the pharmaceutical commercials, and listen to all the body parts that will drop off if you take this for your hangnail. And tell me that there's something in the world, running the world, that is loving. And I'll tell you that you're in error. And so what we're working to do is to offer people the words of how to create that perfect life. And the biggest key in it all is the forgiveness. That is the removal. When you think forgive, you'll notice that the words that have been taught in our culture about forgiveness are, just let them off the hook. It's their fault that you're in pain. Just let them off the hook and you just stay with your rage. You'll be okay. My offering is that when you substitute the word remove for forgive, you'll be talking about forgiveness as it was taught in the first century. If you turn to your child and you have a vicious tongue or a vicious look or even a vicious thought, which of course thought is based in words, then what you need to do is engage in forgiveness. Your child doesn't need your hostility, fear, rage. If you turn to your spouse in a fit of rage, your spouse does not need your thumbprints based in your pain, your trauma, your drama, but you need the tool with which to remove your pain, your drama, and your trauma. That's what Yeshua taught 2,000 years ago. The world has skillfully turned that exactly backward, turned it upside down, put it on its ear, and made it about letting somebody else off the hook. We're here to restore the truth about forgiveness. We're delighted and honored that you're here to share this space with us. And let's check in and see if Michelle has found her way here yet. Michelle, are you with us?
Yes, Michael, I am here. Switchboard's up, and Dr. Tim is here. We've got a caller, and the chat room is organized. You're talking about changing the language and changing the meaning of the culture and that. The password is case sensitive. So you change the case of the password and you change your ability to get to the switchboard.
Good point. Good point.
So, Jeannie's on her way back from running some errands, and which direction would you like to go to? Would you want to take a caller or?
Well, I know that if we turn to Tim with a caller online, he'll just say, let's go to the caller. So let's say hello to our caller and see how we can support them.
All right. This is area code 207. You're on the air. Who do we have, and where are you calling from?
It's Shelley, and I'm calling from Dallas.
Oh, hello.
Hey there, young man.
Hello, sir.
You're in Dallas already. You left Heartland at what time? 4 o'clock yesterday?
Yeah, I got here at 9 o'clock last night. I left at 1.
You are a driving man.
Yeah. Hey, I want to say thank you for. I had more energy move through me in Heartland than I've had in the last 6 months. And I thank you. You know, everything makes me emotional these days.
You know, Heartland is sitting on top of a huge mountain of crystals, and crystal stores memory, you know. If you look at the way your phone works, it's because of the movement of a frequency in a crystal. That's why your phone works, or pardon me, your watch works. Your phone is based in crystals, all that storage. And so we've been structuring those crystals consciously, purposely for 27 years to support healing. And virtually everybody gets the energy when they walk on the land. So I'm delighted it had that impact for you, sir.
It did. I had so much energy moving, and I got to release so much energy that was, and I learned so much. Just those 2 days I was there, really a day and a half that I was there, I learned so much about what I needed to do in my regulatory speech and just everything. It was just so awesome. Thank you so much. It was
delighted,
amazing.
Honored, glad to be on the team.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say thank you. That's all.
You got it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Blessings.
Bye.
Well, let's say hello to Dr. Tim and see how the young man is and see if he has any thoughts to add to our brief intro.
Well, I'm doing well, and the thought I would add to the brief intro is this is Recovery Wednesday, and so that means we had a support group last night, Tuesday, and I think each week that goes on, I find less and less words to describe the power and magnificence of the support groups. And so people are actively working to recover their awareness of their true nature as the energy of love and creation, and I'm happy to be part of that process. And we had a very powerful worksheet last night where somebody was facing some deeply hidden prejudices, and it was beyond words delightful, powerful, and healing.
Well, I hear you loud and clear, and we just finished a 16-day intensive, and those evaluation numbers that technically aren't supposed to be able to move. Well, we had several people with 40, 50, 60, 70-point gains in their evaluation, so it's pretty awesome movement when people get together and basically do what a MindShifters support group does, only do it together for 16 days on fresh and raw food, and the food was awesome. Actually, Ari and I are sitting here at a Mexican restaurant in Branson, just getting ready to have lunch, and last night we went and saw one of the most awesome films that is just like custom made for Heartland. I mean, to the point of unbelievable. You've got to go see this film. And the name of it is, let me see, I'm just looking on the phone to make sure I get it exactly correct. The Light Between the Oceans, I believe it is. And it's a story about a couple who live on a small island where they take care of a lighthouse, so they're the only ones there. And this woman has 2 miscarriages, and then a boat that's been shipwrecked off of a shipwrecked ship ends up floating up to their little island, and the father has a child, and the father has died, and the child is alive, and so the woman convinces her husband that he should not report it and they should keep the child. And everything that ensues is every form of drama and trauma, from hate to jealousy to rage to kidnapping to, everything you could imagine. And the power of the resolution of forgiveness is just so awesomely demonstrated. Both Ari and I sat there last night in tears as we're watching this movie. So it's just an awesome demonstration of the principles and how easily people can slip into insanity, even, without any desire to do so. And just amazing, amazing film. The light between oceans. Just so powerful, it's unbelievable. And the recovery of being that takes place there. And thank you for reminding me that we were on Recovery Wednesday with just coming off of the 16-day Laws of Living Intensive. I didn't even know what day it was. So let's check in and see if Gail is with us. I talked to her just a little while ago, but I wasn't even thinking Wednesday, so I didn't ask if she was going to be available for the show. Are you with us, Gail?
She needs to put her hand up if she's here. So let's say she's probably 618. Hey, Gail, is this you?
It is me.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
welcome, young lady.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here you are between intensives, just doing the 16-day Laws of Living again and getting ready to go to Jeannie's intensive in Michigan. So tell us what's on your mind. That was a pretty awesome 16 days, wasn't it?
It was a very sweet space, that is for sure. And I got a lot out of it. And I think what I told you when I talked to you about an hour ago is that I did two of those ionic foot cleanses. And Crystal usually doesn't do two back to back. And I spent 20 minutes on the beamer, and a lot of stuff is moving. I'm in a good space, and I attempted to maintain my routine that I established at Heartland because I got up pretty early to talk to sponsees and to go up to the Heart Center and get the hot water going and to sit on the porch in quiet about 6:30 in the morning and get work done before class and before we were, had kitchen duty and stuff like that, to just have that. And I overslept. So I was getting up at 5 o'clock and 5:30 to talk to two different sponsees, and I didn't wake up until 5:45, and have felt like I've been catching up on my day ever since to get all those goals taken care of. But I am attempting to do the 66 days as well, and so I've jumped on that bandwagon because I wouldn't say bandwagon maybe, but have jumped on that momentum that I've created at Heartland and immediately jumped on starting to do that and to establish a routine and get that done, actually get all that completed. I actually did my grievance people. I've been avoiding that worksheet. So
awesome. And we'll just share that so people who are new to the show, in Laws of Living, we introduced several new worksheets. And one of them is a worksheet for dealing with grievances. And grievances against parents or anybody in your world. And just some awesomely powerful work was done. Well, anything in the 16 days that you might share that specifically regards to the whole idea of recovery of being that you'd be wanting to share?
Everything that we did was a part of recovery of being. This time around, this will be my third time in a little over a year to do Laws of Living, and every Laws of Living class that I've taken has been exactly what I needed for that class. And just a deeper understanding. There's a lot of material crunched into a very short period of time, and just a deeper and deeper understanding. Different people bring in different aspects of understanding with their processing, and extremely grateful for that. I'm extremely grateful for the deeper level processing that I was able to go through and let go of. What I've noticed is a lot of restructuring in the pelvic abdominal area, and I think I had what you described yesterday, that inability to be able to pull those muscles in to support the lower back. I've noticed a huge shift in the ability to be able, I've always had a little bit of a belly, no matter how skinny I was, and I was very thin growing up. But still always had that belly, still always was not able to maintain a posture. It was painful to, everybody's criticizing, you need to sit up straight or you need to stand up straight. And the ability to do that without pain I did not have, and I've noticed a lot of that pulling in and being stronger, being able to control the bladder has been a lot easier to do. My hips seem a lot more even. My ribs look better. They're not even, but they look a lot better, and the ability to stand up and sit up straight instead of slouching has returned. And the other big thing for me as far as 12-step work is concerned is when I've left intensives in the past, I've either, when I left in 2015, when I left Florida, I went straight to Vortex, which was a restaurant in Atlanta, and had a big hamburger and a Coke. And when I left Heartland last year, I went straight to cookies and had an iced tea and a carrot cake. And this time I made the commitment to another lady that was there, and we both have experienced OA, which is Overeaters Anonymous. We made the commitment to each other to abstain from sugar for today, which was yesterday. And then we made the commitment to be in touch with each other on a daily basis to abstain from sugar one day at a time. And that is huge. And awesome. I was able to maintain that commitment yesterday, and I've remade that commitment to maintain that commitment today. I haven't called her yet today. We haven't called each other or been in contact with each other today. But that was huge as well. I have abstained from meat, from pork, and from beef for almost a year. And so sugar is the next frontier for me. So that has been great as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, to be able to have that 16-day detox, and it's very important for me this time to maintain that detox and to stay away from sugar, especially after all the crud that Crystal poured out of the tub during the ionic cleanse, which was very indicative of Candida, which is what you have brought up to me several times as well. And so the proof was in the tub, and I was like, okay, this tells me that I need to stay away from it. It meaning sugar, processed sugar.
Awesome. That's fabulous. You might want to go by the health food store and get some glutamine. A gram of glutamine 3 or 4 times a day can be helpful. It tells the brain that it's had its sugar taken care of without giving it sugar, and is a nutrient supplement that you might find helpful in dealing with the physical craving. A lot of people don't think of sugar as a drug, but it's probably one of the more common, physically oriented drugs in the culture, and certainly important to stay away from. And we'll certainly join in holding the space for you to be able to do that. That's awesome. One more addiction.
What did you say, Michael? I'm sorry. I apologize.
I say just one more addiction. Letting go is pretty powerful.
Absolutely. I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, that's okay. It's called detox. Well, fabulous work. That's it's pretty awesome. What you the energy with which you went through this intensive was pretty powerful to watch. So we'll hold the space, and I know you're going to see Jeannie in a day or two, so please pass a hug along to her. I won't see her till next week.
I will.
As you head to Michigan, I think she's still got one space in the Healing Women Intensive that starts on Thursday. So, one residential space. So if anybody, if anybody's ready to move to that level and take things to the next level. It's a good way to be introduced to the whole idea of processing. She will be doing still point breathing. She'll be doing some healing through relationships. She's going to tie in codependence and, of course, the forgiveness process. So it's going to be a pretty incredible happening. And there is, as I said, I talked to her this morning, there's one residential space available. So that's awesome, fabulous. We'll hold the space that all things just keep moving forward, and that your daughters are ready to move their process to the next level as they join you in doing that. And it's going to be pretty incredible. Well, let's check in and say hello to Dr. Tim and see if he has anything to share with us at this point. Any other thoughts?
Are you there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Right. I'm here. I have some construction work going on underneath me, so it may get loud. But well, I just wanted to say congratulations to Gail and sending emotional support for her commitment to do the work and to do the healthy eating and to pay attention that it's over 5.5 years now that we've been doing this show, and the community of people just keeps growing, and those people who are making a commitment to making their life better, one worksheet at a time, one breath session at a time, one day at a time, and I congratulate her for being part of that. And as she talks about going to different intensives and 3 laws of living within a year, it reminds me of some of the other people who have been really committed in a very short period of time and have taken their work to a whole new level. So thanks for being on the team and working to recover your awareness that your true nature is this energy of love.
Yay. One of the other things that Gail mentioned, and through the 16 days, and thank you, Dr. Tim, was everybody got to experience the power of the beamer and what that device, and of course Heartland is getting ready to get set up to be a distributor for the product. It's so awesome in its impact on physiology. And it was Dr. Tim who introduced the device to us. And Tim, maybe you'd talk a little bit about the beamer, what it does, and introduce it to our audience. And maybe there'll be somebody interested in getting involved in its use. I mean, the group that we got with when we were in Florida that talked about their experiences with this device, it's just phenomenal. And of course, your experience on a physiological level in the support of your healing process is pretty amazing. You want to share a little bit about it?
All right. Well, the beamer is it's a device that has 5 international patents, and what it does is it sends a signal out that stimulates circulation in the body from the major blood vessels and arteries all the way down to the micro blood vessels and the capillaries. And what I'm told is that there's no known medicine and no known medical treatment that stimulates circulation at that level. Anything below the major arteries and blood vessels has been untouched prior to this time, and the beamer sends a signal out that is timed in strength and duration and repetition to increase the natural movement of blood through the blood vessels, including the capillaries. So more nutrients and oxygen are taken to areas of the body and the cells that have not had them for quite a while. And when that happens, the metabolic waste and toxins can get removed from those areas. So it's a wonderful adjunct therapy for anything else as a part of a holistic system of health, putting the proper nutrients in, staying properly hydrated, getting the proper movement and exercise, doing your own mental, emotional work, this is a wonderful adjunct to an entire whole health system, that functional medicine approach that says you need a purpose in life, you need a sense of love and community, you need proper nutrition, you need proper hydration, you need proper exercise. And if you do, health happens. When you feed and nurture the system at all of these levels, health happens. And what the Beamer does is simply work specifically in the area of circulation, and it improves circulation and vasodilation from anywhere from 25 to 30% in just one 8-minute session. And if you do that twice a day, then since the benefits last over 12 hours from one session to the next, you're getting a cumulative benefit, improving the circulation in the body, and your body will heal what it can heal more efficiently and more quickly. That's the theory behind it, and that's certainly how it's worked for me.
It's a pretty awesome device, and of course, if you're going to recover being, you've got to have a place for being to live. If you're going to recover the truth of who you are, you've got to have sound physiology for that to happen. And so, and I know, Tim, you have some specific things that have happened to you with physiological challenges. Is it appropriate to share some of that? Are you with us, Tim?
Yeah, I was talking into my mute button.
Oh, okay, I've done that.
I was just saying, I think I'll withhold giving a personal testimonial. I mean, I give it in person for people, but I think people might get the impression that this is some kind of a miracle cure device, and it isn't. The miracles happen within your body. It's a miracle that I can digest food, and that I can walk around, and that my heart keeps pumping without me thinking about it. And so what I would say is that the benefits that have happened to me were so significant that it changed a 41-year pattern for me. For 41 years in my practice in psychology, people asked me to sell vitamins or meditation CDs or visualization CDs or breathing devices, etc. And I have steadfastly refused to sell anything at any level that would taint the relationship of, quote, doctor-patient, etc. And the benefits I received from the Beamer were so strong, and then the people I met involved in the company were so stellar that I've changed that. Now, I don't actively sell it to people that I'm seeing in therapy, but I am a distributor. I can't not share this with people. That's how much it's helped me.
Cool. Well, certainly having a sounder body to live in makes sense, and it's a pretty powerful adjunct to that. And it's the better physiology feels, the easier it's going to be, the better the energy flow is. As you heard Gail talk about 20 minutes on the Beamer, and just the increase in energy movement is pretty amazing. And of course that empowers one to work through the things they need to work through. So fabulous, awesome, and let's check back in with Michelle and see if there's anybody else on the phone line with a hand up or anything happening in the chat room for us to be aware of. Michelle?
No, it looks like quiet on both fronts here.
Well, then we'll just say that if anybody has a question for us, if you're on the phone and you push 1, that will raise a little hand that will tell us that you want to chat with us. And if you're in the chat room, of course, you can't really communicate in the chat room unless you join Blog Talk, which is a pretty simple thing. There's no cost to it, and they're very integritous with protecting your phone, or pardon me, your email address. So you can communicate through the chat room. If you're on one of those stations that we don't get in our control panel, you can dial into our new radio show number, which is area code
Michelle, can you hear me?
I can. It looks like he dropped. He started to say area code 516-418-5786. So he'll probably call in a second because you ever get this error message when it asks you if you want to continue the show or not. Do not press end the show.
All right, then. Stay on the show. So what's new in your young life, Michelle?
Well, working diligently to get this house prepped and keep on top of my dehydrating onion bread and veggie burgers. Wait for the dishwasher to finish so I can start on the next batch of food processing, truffles, and all the yummies for raw eating, which I know for some of the folks that are going to be here, just the idea of eating some cauliflower is horrific. And so it's going to be interesting to watch how people assimilate and integrate and experience what true vitality is really like. Because this whole point of when Gail was talking about detoxing and meeting, taking advantage of the opportunity that a 16-day intensive where there really aren't any options. You make do, and you kind of have to move through your addictions, whether it's cooked food or sugar or caffeine, and it really becomes once you pass those first couple days, the reset is kind of self-propelling, I think, after that point. So I love her idea about no sugar, and it'll be easy to support when she gets here.
Fabulous. Awesome. And I apologize, my phone cut off. Cell phones, what can I say? But we're back. We're here for support. And if anybody has a question for us, go ahead.
Oh, I was just finishing my thought. I was going to say to Tim, well, you might go back. The most thrilling part of this experience is that it's happening in my home. And, like, for me developing myself and anchoring memories and experiences and just thoughts and feelings that are going to come up, and with everybody, too, and breathing, it feels like, Michael, you talked about the crystals in Heartland. That was a visceral experience. I can remember, driving down Highway P and Highway O and NN and all those ones, and, each couple miles that I got further away from Heartland, I could feel kind of the energy, reducing. It was like a vortex, honestly, and I could feel myself coming out of it, and part of me didn't want to keep driving, like, no, I just want to stay in that bubble of love is what I called it. And so the idea of having an intensive here, I think that's going to, kind of bless the house, kind of anchor some love vortex here on the property.
Yay. Yeah, that's pretty cool to have happening there because it does make a difference. And even so, I can remember the first time I walked on the property 27 years ago, the energy there, and it was just like, this is it. This is the place where Heartland needs to be. And so it's cool to be doing intensives in different places. Actually, we're talking to one of the participants, Rose's. Gail is, we're having a conversation. She has a place just outside of Knoxville. And we're looking at perhaps going instead of going to Florida, perhaps being in that area and doing an 8-week, or maybe we'll make it a 10-week Laws of Living intensive, only we'll do it over a time period rather than in a residential format as we do. So looking forward to seeing how that might come together, and it'll probably be pretty interesting as that unfolds. So taking the work farther and farther afoot. Go ahead.
Like 10 weeks once a week or something?
Right, yes. Yeah, the course was originally taught over 8 weeks, one session a week, 3 hours, one night a week. That was the original, when we took it in the prisons and the jails, that was the original Laws of Living class. And I've only actually done that, aside from in the jail or the prison, one time out in California I was resident there for the 8 weeks and did an intensive with people. And that's the format that, for instance, Suzanne Darnell is following, is that 8-week format. And we're actually, with her working with it so consistently, we've actually been talking about maybe adjusting the format a little bit to accommodate the still point breathing. Because what Susan is doing is each person who participates in the intensive, she's having them do a private personal breathing session with her. And so we were talking about, well, maybe we should add a Saturday to that and do an all day so that everybody in the intensive takes part in a still point session together as part of the experience. So, but that's the actual original format. And then when Dan and I, Dan originally developed a thing called EMI, and I had been doing a thing called Lessons in Living. And so we put together our work and came up with Laws of Living. And originally we started teaching that at Heartland. We did it, experimented several years in a row with it on I think we started off on a 13-day, then we increased it to 14, then went to 16 days in order to really get all of the material in to a 16-day intensive. And it's pretty grueling to do, but the space it opens up. Actually, yesterday when we closed the intensive out and I read the closure lesson, it's basically a meditation that I've been working on writing over the last probably 30 years. And when it completed, I could have just stayed in that for the rest of the day and, not gone out and gotten in the car and loaded bags up and gone to the airport. But that wasn't a practical option. So we went forward. But we're working with, different experimental ways of doing it. And it would be nice to see you get that whole thing under your belt and start to teach it in Lansing, seeing as how at this point nobody else is doing that. I think it would be awesome to have you doing that.
Ingham County, once a week.
Say again?
I said I did it in Ingham County. Well, no, it might have been over in Kent County. Once a week for 8 hours, no, 6 hours, 3 hours, for 59 weeks.
Right, at the prison, yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you're going to do that in 10 weeks. Like, I love, that was the finest experience of my life, I think. One of the top 10.
I understand. Well, it's interesting, and talking about recovery and the response that you got. The tradition has always been, when Laws of Living was taught in the jail or the prison, that the prisoner had to invest in it. They had to pay for the class. That was just from day one out the gate. That was part of the judge's requirement. The judge who originally asked for this program to be developed in Albany, Georgia. He was actually at one time the head of the prison system for the whole state of Georgia, and then a Superior Court judge. And part of his requirement was that prisoners pay for it. Well, of course, it wasn't very practical to do with these guys who were in for 25 years to life because they don't have any income. But we did set up a requirement that was their payment for the class, and there was an 8-week MindShifters support group that the group attended, and the requirement was to do 5 worksheets a day over that 8 weeks. And would you care to tell us what drug everybody used as an excuse? These guys who are literally locked in their cells 23 out of 24 hours a day, and maybe a couple of them had, a 3-hour job in the laundry or the commissary or what have you. But what was the reason why the majority of people in that group said they could not do their 5 worksheets a day? Can you share that with us?
Well, sure. We introduced the worksheet process fairly soon into our teaching experience, and so we had about 30 guys in the class, and so after we introduced it and encouraged them and explained what we expected, we asked to show of hands how many people did 5 worksheets over the week we had been gone. And one guy raised his hand, and we were kind of surprised. We weren't sure, like maybe they didn't have pencils or access to the paper. When we asked them, specifically, like, hey, what, come on, you guys, like, we really thought that everybody had agreed to this goal for the week. And one person volunteered as, and then some people backed him up that, like, man, we just didn't have the time. Like, you just don't know. Like, we got things going on and things to do, and just didn't really, couldn't fit it in, just too busy. And I took every, like, concentration in my, like, face and my thoughts to, like, not, like, burst out, like, laughing, because I wanted to be respectful, but it was so incredible because it was hard to comprehend for me, like, how that could actually be possible, and not only that, but that they believed it.
Well, and
now, Michael,
everybody in the culture, I have the same experience when I'm traveling. I'll do a week of workshops. We do the Why Workshop Sunday. I'll invite people to do 5 worksheets a day. People shake their heads. And then on Wednesday or Thursday, I'll say, now, how many have done their 5 worksheets a day? I might get 1 person. And how many have done 4? Maybe 1 other person. 3, 2 people. 2, maybe a half a dozen. And 1 worksheet a day, maybe 7 out of a crowd of 100. And when I ask, well, we're just too busy. And they believe it too. People organize their lives. That's one of the benefits of an intensive. Most people will not reorganize their lives from the habits that keep them locked into their addictions. And busyness is one of the most common addictions on the planet. Thank you.
Well, yeah. I get it. I'm busy and angry and I eat a lot of sugar.
Tim, do you have any experience with people telling you they're too busy?
Yes. Sometimes I'm way too busy to listen to them, though.
And you probably believe that, right?
Right. Right. So did I hear somebody else trying to talk in over either on your side, Michael, or Michelle's?
I don't think so, but I am sitting in a place where there are other people talking nearby, so somebody might have come through. But, Michelle, is there anybody with a hand up or anything else happening in the chat room?
No, we've got 11 minutes left. It would be wonderful if someone wanted to call in. There's a lot of 517 numbers on the switchboard today, so there's folks out there who might be coming to the intensive who are listening, or still, Jeannie's not back yet, so she must be having fun out there in East Lansing.
Well, 517, let's be represented. Somebody put your hand up and tell us what's happening in your world. Are you going to the intensive? What's coming up for you? I know that the minute that people make a commitment to intensive, all of a sudden, everything that could possibly block them will start to come to the surface.
Michael, I have been living that for 7 weeks. I'm so over it. But we do have area code 423 on the phone, so let's say hi.
This is Jeannie. How are you?
Well, hey there, young lady. Having fun out there in the world?
I've been listening to you all, but I am actually on my way back. I've been to Home Depot and got the whiteboards. I've been to Office Max and got the stands and the dry erase markers and erasers, and I've knocked out Kroger's produce department. And yes, that is true for even the teacher of the intensive, that once you commit to doing it, that it starts.
I hear you, sweetheart, loud and clear. Well, any wisdoms to share with your journey and your learning?
Not at the moment. Just letting go of my need to have everything perfect as far as my lesson in my head and all that stuff. But, it'll all be absolutely perfect, I am sure.
Jeannie, I think canceling the goal for Michelle to be organized would be a good one for you.
To be what?
You cancel the goal for Michelle to be organized.
Oh, actually, you'll get a kick out of my opening statement tomorrow night.
Oh, great. How many worksheets? You weren't up till 2:30 doing first earliest memories. You were doing worksheets. I'm like, hey, I thought you had this place ready to go.
Well, I had asked actually last night. Everything looked absolutely perfect in her home, and she sent pictures to put on the website and everything. And now Miss Perfection, speaking to Miss Perfection, we're two good ones. She repaints and remodels and does all this other, and it's like, Michelle, how are you going to have it ready by tomorrow?
Well, because when you start a detox and then, you open a closet and then you see, there's 2 hefty bags of garbage on the bottom, then, you got to move the stuff. So, I have an appetite for wanting to accomplish more than I have bandwidth to do.
So you're detoxing your house as well as yourself, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I think that's always the biggest thing, because 3 years ago is when I first started doing intensives and breath work real seriously, that the house started to fall apart. I mean, water floods, ceilings breaking out because of damage, gas explosions in the kitchen. I mean, really just seriously took a punk. And I said, well, there's my healing crisis. Thank God it's not my body. But it really did. So this whole part is like a 3-year cycle of, dismantling and then restoration, and it's just the whole metaphor for my life.
And Michelle, you might, in the context of the recovery conversation, you might want to look at how busyness is the drug, and taking on those projects to keep you perhaps in busyness so there's something you don't have to look at. Is that a dynamic for you?
Well, Michael, I think that could be part of it. I also think that when I made this commitment on my birthday, July 13th, 8 weeks ago here, that exactly what is expected is that stuff started blowing up. I mean, my business closed. The state closed my business, unbeknownst to me, on July 21st, and I found out over Labor Day weekend and had to dismantle my entire private practice and move. Thank God I, connected and moved down the road a mile and reset up camp and put a new shingle out. That was not really part of the plan, getting ready for this intensive. Going to attorneys and calling Washington D.C. Wage and Labor Board. I mean, this is one little piece. I stepped on the hospital stay. So anyways, I agree with you that there is, busyness is definitely a factor in terms of avoiding myself. And I don't know, the intensive started long before today.
The intensive started the day you made a commitment to do it. That's what happens with everybody. And that's where a lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, I can't do it because this came up.
No, well, right, but that's my mindset is keep pushing through, and that I can do this. I do have a belief that I can create whatever I want, and I just always move towards that direction. Angie, you'd be amazed when she gets home. Like, Dad, you did this in 2 hours.
The layers have to be moved. I'm glad Jeannie will be amazed when she gets home.
Yeah.
So one of the lines, or one of the ideas, if you remember, in Laws of Living is sometimes other people are in control of what relieves my stress. And it's all part of the process for sure. If you think about Heartland, 27 years ago when we acquired that property for intensives, there were places in the buildings where if you stepped in the wrong place, you went through to the ground. And the kitchen was a little space about 8 by 12 with 1 1.5 by 1.5 window. And the people who had owned the place 7 years previously before it closed down had served hamburgers and French fries out of there, and it was like the dark hole of Calcutta with 1/4 of an inch of grease on everything. And you think about what it's taken to move to the level where Heartland is in the shape that it's in, and things move in the way that they do, and everything that it's taken to go through that. I mean, you're getting a mini window on it doing a 4-day. it's been 27 years of that, and the process goes on.
Michael, there's a couple callers. We got a couple minutes. I don't know if you want to say hi.
Let's say hello, sure.
All right, 267, you're live.
Good afternoon.
Hey, give us a name. Where are you calling from?
This is Charlie in Pennsylvania.
Hey, Charlie, how can we support you?
Well, I feel very supported. I just want to let you know I'm listening. I was introduced to you through Ann's call over the past couple of sessions, and I've reviewed that conversation with the past couple of sessions, and I've reviewed that conversation with the audience at least 3 times now. It totally resonates with me. I feel it hitting at the core, if you gather what I mean. And I'd had a severing of friendship with a woman I was a caregiver, caretaker of her home, and turned out others that came and went in that home. And in the end, I lost all of my possessions out of her home, and obviously our relationship. She's over 90 years old now, if she's still alive. And I haven't spoken with her since because I felt anger and betrayal. At first, she sent an attorney after me, which was just so diabolical. I told this to my brother-in-law, who's an attorney, and he said every time he heard it, it just makes his blood curdle. And I never acted against her. I went to the courts and was going to file something or other, but I'm not much one to follow through on such things. However, spiritually and metaphysically, I'm finding peace within myself to, even at the distance of now 5 or 6 years since we've had anything to do with one another, and having lost all my possessions from her home that she had disposed of, I feel it's kind of settling down. So that's like a nutshell of a situation that started in 2009, went to about 2011 when we finally parted.
Well, that sounds pretty heavy duty, and we're down to the last 60 seconds. So if there's some specific questions, maybe we could start the show off with it. Yeah, maybe we could start the show off with those questions tomorrow, and we can give you more support. But in the meantime, I'd be doing some worksheets on betrayal. That sounds like a big one. And I'm going to have to close the show because the station's going to cut us off, and we'll just say, everybody have the best year yet of your eternal life. If you call in tomorrow, it'll be a delight to support you. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Thank you.